Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review, and for discussion for this video I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be discussing the 1979 animated movie The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. We know that most YouTube movie critics here have been discussing the 2005 live action film. It's probably fine for them. But for some reason I haven't seen anybody do the 1979 film, which is, I think, was produced by British, the BBC. And also they also did a version for exactly the same version. So what they did was they changed the voice acting for American actors. So some versions you hear more of British actors rather than characters. And particularly in some characters there were like different voice actors for the broadcast of American television. But for American television audiences, which is what I grew up with, it aired on CBS television for about, I don't know, like 5 or 6 years, something like that. And it aired like maybe like at least once maybe twice a year. And it was split over 2 nights. And what it is, because it's an hour and 35 minute film. So what they did was they divided it up in half, and they aired, I think either back-to-back nights, or they aired one night and then maybe a night or 2 nights later, depending on what the television schedule was, they aired the second half. But then, of course, actually nothing is. I didn't even know this, that the Narnia books was actually part of the series, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. The 1979 version was actually part of a series of novels written by C.S. Lewis called Narnia books, and this was the first one in that series. And for some reason, there hasn't been another sequel to it. At least in anime. See, unlike the Lord of the Rings movies, where they made I think like at least 2 or 3 different films. And of course, the live action films by Disney, they have made at least 2 films. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and then they made that second film was Prince Caspian, which I recently saw half of it on television recently. So, but for the animated film, I have not even seen that film on anime. I think they re-released the movie on DVD, at least the animated film, but the live action film by Disney came out, so that you can compare both of them. And I'm going to compare both of them. But both of them were talking about it exactly, almost scene for scene. I mean, there was very little of any changes between the 2 films. Well, there was one, which we're going to get into. But like I said, the animated film was in 1979. And of course, people were complaining about the voice acting was different in the 2 versions. I think somebody did. I mean, the person who put up the film on YouTube mentioned the fact that the voice acting was different from the American version and the British version. That kind of bothered me at first, because I remember the actual voice, particularly for the White Witch. And maybe I think half the cast, but most of the cast voices are the same voice actor for both versions, so it wasn't that much of a difference for me. I think maybe except for maybe 2, maybe 3 characters, maybe not that much. I think the one who voiced the actor Peter was different, and plus the one who was the voice of, I think, the Beavers. And the White Witch, maybe I think, was different, from what I remember. But all the voice acting was pretty much the same. Well, the film, in case those of you who don't know, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is the first book of the Narnia book series written by C.S. Lewis, and it stars 4 children. You didn't really know the last names in the original movie animated film, but it was directed by Bill Menendez. Because naturally, of course, if you go watching the Peanuts specials like I did, know who he is. He was the producer and director of a lot of the show Peanuts specials, television specials. So he directed this film, and he did a very good job with the animation at that time. Of course, people even complaining about how crappy the animation was. We're talking about 1979 animation or animation from the 70s. You didn't have CGI animation, computer animated films back then like you do now. That's why every animated children's film today is 3D animated. And that time everything had to be hand drawn, and some of the animation could be cheesy by today's standards, or lousy by today's standards. But by that time it was very good animation for 1979 audiences. And of course, as we tell the story of 4 children who were in this house out in the country. It was owned by this professor, this old college professor. Now, in the anime, one thing that the live action version got right was the fact that it told the backstory of the 4 kids, of why were they in this house in the country owned by this old professor. And I know if it was in the original novel, because I never read the original Narnia books, so I only could compare the animated film and the live action film. But in the animation film, you didn't know why these kids were in this house. Everything was implied they were spending the summer at this professor's house. And they found this one particular room, well, Lucy, there were like 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, all brothers and sisters. And of course the 2 boy names, of course the oldest one was Peter and the youngest boy was Edmund. And the actual ages was Peter was the oldest, then came Susan who was the oldest girl, and then Edmund, and then Susan who was actually the youngest in terms of age. And one particular day they were playing like hide and seek in the house. And Lucy, the youngest child of this foursome, found this old wardrobe. So we all does a good hiding spot, playing hide and seek, and somehow she went to the back of the wardrobe, and unfortunately, the wardrobe was actually much bigger than originally thought. And she kept walking back and back and back, and then all of a sudden she's in this different world, which is in winter. And he found out there was actually a doorway to a magical world called Narnia, which had all these mythical creatures in it, talking animals and so on and so forth. And she meets this fawn named Mr. Thomas, and he treats her to tea in his house. Plays on a fife for her. And then of course he breaks down crying and says, what's the matter? Well, I'm supposed to keep you here till the White Witch comes. What? I said, well, because you are a daughter of Eve, aren't you? He said, you are a human girl. She goes, yeah, I'm a human and I'm a girl. Why? Because the White Witch wants to collect every human that she can and kill them. Because there's a prophecy saying there's 2 daughters of Eve and 2 sons of Adam will come into Narnia and destroy the power of the White Witch and kill the White Witch, and then we'll sit on the thrones in this castle in the eastern part of Narnia, and will officially break the spell of the White Witch. The White Witch is an evil kid that keeps Narnia forever in winter with no Christmas. Now the question is, how would this mythical or magical land Narnia know about Christmas? That's what I couldn't figure out. So Lucy then of course ends up going back through the wardrobe to the spot where she came out of. And came into Narnia, she went back through the same way, back to the professor's house. Like time never changed. Because the time there's a time paradox going on there. Like whatever happens in Narnia, it has no real effect on the modern time in where this house was in the books. Or in the film, it has no the time difference in Narnia is a different time frame than they have in Narnia, or Narnia compared to London, what it's supposed to be. And Lucy says, "Oh, from this land called Narnia, from this little fawn, and all that stuff." And then they have an evil witch. At first, the other kids didn't believe her, particularly her brother Edmund, who was picking on for her. And Edmund was like the jerk of the story. Or if you believe in Christianity, he's supposed to be like the Doubting Thomas in the story. As one particular day, the next day, Edmund followed Lucy back into this extra room, a spare room, and where the wardrobe was. And he follows her in there. And at first, because since she went in first, it was like a few minutes or an hour or two before he got in there. Now, like I said, the time is really funny in this book. It's not really explained why. I mean, what it explained that the time goes much faster in Narnia than it does in their reality that's in the book and in the film. So what I mean is they could spend like 50 years in Narnia and then go back to where they were in the room in the house, and the time doesn't change. You can be in there for like 50 years in Narnia, we were only like maybe a minute in this reality here in this video. And so when they went in, Edmund ended up finding the White Witch. The White Witch ended up finding him, and she says to him, "She tries to seduce Edmund, maybe like 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old. He tries to seduce him, saying, 'Hey, if you bring your brother and your two sisters here, you can bring them over to my castle.' Naturally, of course, she doesn't say why, so that she can kill all of them. So that the prophecy won't come true. And that type of thing. So okay, I try. And then of course, once again, Edmund's being a jerk to Lucy. He said, "Oh, Lucy ends up finding him and said, 'Oh, Edmund, you came here too,' and got excited over that. Because now you believe me, right?" He says, "Well, let's go back." So they go back, and of course, Edmund makes it like he was playing make believe. And of course, all four of them, with Susan and Peter, says, "Hey, let's go find out if the story of Lucy's is actually true. Let's believe the story." And Susan says, "Hey, you're not saying that Lucy's story is actually true. True, do you, Peter?" I said, "Well, I don't know what to believe, but let's double check. Lucy's never been this adamant about anything like this before. Let's check it out. Let's check out the story. If she made this up, then we deal with it if that's the actual case." Then all go through the wardrobe and says, "Hey, they don't believe that's true." And they ended up getting like 4 coats from the wardrobe, winter coats. And they ended up finding this beaver, Mr. Beaver they call him. And they go into his house and they say, "Oh, I'm here to pick you up." And we found out that you were here, and Mr. Thomas got into trouble because of the fact that he didn't bring Lucy to the witch. And then we're here to bring you to Aslan. And Aslan is like this mystical creature, or the actual ruler of the whole of Narnia, which has like different countries and different counties. And sometimes he comes here, sometimes he's here like for years at a time, and then comes back or whatever. But I guess he found out that 4 humans were here, and he's going to try and help you guys out. And Edmund thought that this whole story was a bunch of baloney, and he leaves. But nobody even noticing that he left to go to the White Witch. And then the Bible says, "We've been betrayed." Not like Pontius Pilate who betrayed Jesus. So they're doing all this Christianity in an animated form or a children's story form. And of course, eventually what happened is he betrays the 3 kids, and the reason why Emmett did that is because he got mad at Peter, because he thought that Peter was being too much of a bully towards Edmund. He was being a jerk towards Edmund, so out of spite he went to the White Witch. He did well. They say that he betrayed his brothers and sisters. We know that wasn't really the case. He just did it as a spite Peter for the way that Peter was treating him. So they made this whole big deal out of this, and of course the White Witch got mad because that Edmund didn't bring the 2 brothers and his brother and 2 sisters along. He says, "Yeah, but I can tell you where they are." And it says, "Okay," and then actually went chasing him, and that didn't work. And then of course, then Edmund tells him, "Look, Aslan is." Last thing I heard before I left was, "Aslan is coming." Is it Aslan? He can't be here. You know, the White Witch freaks out, and then you find out why. And of course, she has like a little elf, or the White Witch has an elf helping her out. And he says, "Wait a minute. The prophecy is if you don't kill him, the prophecy comes to us." No, as long as I have him. The reason will be only 3 humans, not 4. I need 4 is the prophecy, not 3. So as long as I have him, the prophecy can't come true. So she decided not to kill Emmett first. And of course Aslan was there, and then of course shows up, which is a lion. And they tell him what happened, what was going on, and then of course Edmund helps them. And Aslan, they defeat Edmund. And of course the most scary scene if you're a little kid like I was maybe 8 or 9 years old when I first saw this thing on CBS. So there's a part where Aslan trades places with Edmund, as the White Witch felt betrayed by Edmund, because Edmund went back on his word and went back to his brother and 2 sisters. And of course he says, "Look, I'm going in his place." And Aslan says, "You don't kill him, you kill me." Of course, which he didn't really know yet until the act actually happened, which he didn't really see it when you saw all the creatures that, or the army that the White Witch has set up, with all the creatures. These things, these little monks and little imps and everything, all these strange little creatures which could really only work in an animated film. So it worked in live action film too. But that's how it worked on here. And of course you see they shaved his mane. And of course you see the witch, she has a knife and she plunges it. You see her plunge the knife down, but you don't see the knife actually hitting anything. They don't have that scene in there. They only have to see her punch the knife down, and you hear the really dramatic music in it. And of course, the White Witch screams out, "Great Cat is dead!" And actually, all the forces of evil, they're all cheering. And they say, "Oh, I can't believe this is what we were afraid of. I can't believe we were afraid of this guy." And Aslan never fought back in that scene. So it's kind of like when Jesus was crucified. And of course, what happened was Jesus supposedly came back to life. If you believe in the myth that Jesus came back to life, that's what happened with Aslan. He came back to life. And Lucy and Susan, they saw Aslan there, and they were hiding, so they wouldn't be seen. And of course, when the White Witch and her forces left, they went to take care of Aslan, or untie him and everything else from the stone table. And then when Aslan came back to life, they asked him, "How come you lived?" Well, because of the really old magic at the beginning of time that if someone else took the place of a traitor, death will run backwards. And so that's why I'm alive, because I never betrayed anybody. But I took the place of your brother, who did betray the witch. So because I did that, I was able to come back to life. And then of course in the end he had the big battle scene. Of course, guess who ends up winning? The good guys. Peter, Edmund, Susan, and Lucy. They all won. And of course, Edmund, not Edmund, Aslan named the 4 humans kings and queens. And of course, Aslan, after that happened, Aslan leaves. So, my work is done here type thing, and walks off like John Wayne in the movies. And then of course, years go by, and what happened was the 4 were chasing this deer. But if you can capture it, you earn a wish or something like that. And so they chase him, and they end up chasing him through the spot where they originally came out of. Come into Narnia, so the wardrobe, and then go out, and here we are, back where we were. And of course, they try to get back to Narnia through the wardrobe, and it never worked. And they talked to the professor about it, and the professor said it looks like you're never going to go back through that time portal. But he came on this theory that if you want to go back, you're going to probably go back in an unexpected area, an unexpected spot. And that's how pretty much how the animated film ended. It's also the same way how the live action film ended as well. But the only change that I noticed between the animated film and the live action film was a particular scene where he meets Susan, Lucy, and Peter at first, and he gave them their weapons they use. Peter with the shield and a sword, Susan with a bow and arrow set, and Lucy with and a horn. And Susan also got a horn in case there was trouble coming. She got Aslan's army, and Lucy only got like a little flask of medicine. And if a person is like near death or has some kind of injuries, there's one drop of this, and they'll come back to normal. In the animated film, Aslan was the one who gave him these weapons. In the live action film, was actually Santa Claus in the live action film, and that was kind of cheesy to me. But in the that was the only real change. Of course, also in the animated film, they have these animals celebrating the fact that Aslan's coming, and all that stuff. And we have two sons of Adam and two daughters of Eve here, and it's a big, huge day for the people of Narnia, people of the Feast of Narnia. But in the live action film, I don't think they had. I don't remember them having that particular scene either. I think they did. Actually, I think they did. But I thought that both versions were almost, except for those two differences, both movies were very well made and great CGI in the live action film. But I don't know how many books there were in the Narnia series. In but Disney, the live action film, I think they only made like 2 movies. They made, of course, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out in 2005, and then in 2000, I think it was like 2008, they made the Prince Caspian film. And of course, the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, of course, actually, I feel is the best film. I try to see most of the Prince Caspian film. and I thought it was okay, but not as good as the first film was. Because I always felt the line in which the wardrobe was very good, very good story, a very good film. But Prince Caspian, at least the parts I saw of it, was, it didn't thrill me that much. But I kind of see the fascination of these films because, or the stories, because the stories, a lot of people can relate because a lot of fantasy involved, and it was good for its time. Kind of like but it hasn't gotten. I don't think it has gotten the popularity or the hype that the Lord of the Rings movies received with Peter Jackson. Because don't forget, Peter Jackson made all three movies at the same time. Pretty much one after the other in New Zealand, and they all got these high praise, got a ton of Academy Awards, but they didn't do this. Disney did not do the same thing with the Narnia books. So I guess because they wanted to see how well the first one would do, and then we see if we do other Narnia stories. So that's what Disney did, and I think they only made like one sequel, the Prince Caspian film. But in terms of the two films, I think they're almost exactly alike. Except one's live action, one's animated. But I always remember the animated film more, because I think it's been on the year more. But since the live action film came out, I haven't seen a movie on the animated film in years on television. Years. I think it's been like almost like 30 years since I've seen it on television. I have seen it, of course, since here on YouTube. I've seen it, but not on regular television. So that's my review of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Please like the film, please rate it. Feel free to comment on it. Please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel, and of course, please forward this video into your Facebook pages so I get more viewership. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.